Welcome to Pique Your Interest, your go-to podcast for all things mortgage and real estate. Hosted by Tanner Greenwald and Tim Malaskis. We bring you expert insights to help you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Pique Your Interest. I'm your host, Tim.
And I am Tanner.
And happy 2026, everybody. We are in a new year. We've got some ideas of what we think is going to happen this year, so we just wanted to bring you this episode and share some of those predictions. And I think maybe a year from now, we'll hopefully do the same episode and maybe revisit and see how accurate we were.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I think we're going to bat 1,000. We're going to get these all right.
You think?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you start? Why don't you tell us something that you think you're going to see in 2026 in the housing and mortgage industry?
Okay. So I personally think that first-time home buyers are going to be overly educated. I think that social media itself has increased over the years with like TikTok, Instagram. A lot of people we do a YouTube podcast. Podcasting has been pretty big for a long time. Yep. I'd say the last 5 years. So I think having all of that information at your fingertips gives you, you could search anything in a search engine, home buying, and it just comes up with 100 different topics about home buying. So I think our future home buyers are going to be looking into some of that education that they're seeing online, and that results in them being overly educated, which I don't mind. I don't know if I like telling people about being a first-time home buyer and what you can expect and all that stuff. But, it is hard if someone's calling you and you don't know where they're starting. So,
yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of first-time home buyers, and like you say, I think we're going to get a lot of first-time home buyers that already have a lot of answers. So in the past, people would come to us and we would be, inundated with the most basic of questions from people that had never done this process before. And I think that I agree with you. I think that as time has gone on, the level of questions that you get from first-time buyers they've been better questions. They've been better thought out. Not that basic questions aren't good, because they are. Everyone has to start somewhere, but I think a lot of people have done the research ahead of time,
which is good.
They come with more in-depth questions.
Yeah, I always think you should be a little bit educated before you do anything really in life. But
no, absolutely.
What about you? Agree. What prediction could you throw out to us?
I think that if we're going to talk about buyers, I think they're going to see more inventory. We're already starting to see that a little bit. We saw 2025 was the year that inventory started to increase again. So, a balanced, healthy market has about 5 or 6 months of inventory. And we have been well short of that for years. Since even before the pandemic, we were low. But since the pandemic, we've been at 2 or 3 months of inventory. So we're half of where we should be with inventory. We're probably more than 1 million households short of being able to fulfill the need that we have in this country. So I think we've already seen inventory increase. I think you're probably going to see something closer to a 4 or 4.5% or 4 or 4.5 month inventory as opposed to 2 or 3. And I think that makes a really big difference, because now you'll have buyers that are more educated going out and they're able to see more houses that are available. And even now, when you're running numbers for clients, I don't know about you, but me, when I'm running numbers for people, it's hey, for years they were hey, can you run numbers on this one house that I found? And now it's hey, I went to look and I liked 4 of these houses. There's a lot more to look at. And so I think, it's healthy because it's more balanced, but I think it works out well for us because we're in the business of buyers. And so I think there's more inventory for those buyers to buy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I hope that's right.
I agree.
What else? What you got?
So I think that buyers are going to become more open to creative financing options.
Yeah.
And that could mean a couple of different things. But for me, I think if you come in to get a loan, it's more of stacking different features on top of your loan. If you're going through a down payment assistance program or anything like that. I don't know about you. I feel like we're doing that a bunch. But in 2024 and in 2025, a lot of buyers that I was coming across, I was trying to throw out, specialty programs that we have. If you're trying to sell your home and you're purchasing another home, but you're contingent on the sale of your home, bridge loans are a thing. And a lot of buyers kind of strayed away from that logic. It doesn't sound right in their head to them to have multiple, stacked payments or whatever, things like that. So I truly think that buyers will kind of open their eyes to see that, you can maybe afford more if you end up layering a program on top of your loan, or if you're going through any type of like specialty program, if it's a bridge loan, maybe, I don't know, like an investment program. There's a lot of investment people out there right now. But that's kind of what I predict, excuse me. I think that more people will be willing to accept creative financing when it's coming from us. Trust us more a little bit with it. Yeah.
I think the door to that really opened in the last couple of years because, again, going back to inventory was so constrained. If you found a house that you liked and you wanted to buy it, you wanted to do whatever you could to get that house. And so the idea of opening it up to something a little more creative became more of a thing. And, us thinking outside the box, became more of a necessity than it was before.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think that's definitely something we'll see. Yeah. I think we're also going to see, and this doesn't pertain to every type of loan, but I do think we'll see more appraisal waivers. I think that as the underwriting systems of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac become more advanced and they're able to, digest more data, I think that they'll be comfortable with, saying, yes, let's take on this loan. And yes, we do think that value is fair for, that property, that neighborhood, that area or whatever. Specifically because we're not going to see prices increasing like we did in 2020 and 2021. Like, I don't think we're going to see 20% increases in prices year over year. Maybe this is a two-pronged prediction, but I also think we're only going to see like 2 to 4% appreciation in the housing market. And when you're not increasing by 20%, I think it's easier for Fannie and Freddie to be like, okay, we thought the value of this house was X. Now it's X plus 2% as the sales price. That kind of jives with what our model is. So yeah, maybe you don't need to get an appraisal. So I think, again, two-pronged, maybe because appreciation slows a little bit, but is still like at a healthy level. Fannie and Freddie are more comfortable giving appraisal waivers as a result of that.
Yeah, I kind of like that prediction. Yeah, I think the buyers would like that prediction.
Well,
too.
It also saves you some money too. Like, there's two sides to that. There's you could save money by not getting an appraisal. Save $600 or whatever it is. Yeah. The counter to that would be that you aren't getting an appraisal from a professional appraiser whose value of the opinion the opinion of the value of your house is whatever it is. So you're foregoing that professional opinion, but you're also saving yourself a few $100 and making your life a little bit easier at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, especially, fees are increasing out in the world. They're increasing in businesses as well. So, appraisal prices, they can go up if they want to, and it just is what it is.
Yeah. I agree. But that's all I got for 2026. I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be, we're going to see more buyers, more inventory, hopefully a little bit lower rates. And I think all of those things together signal a healthier economy, healthier buyers. Hopefully there's some sellers that make some money on the sale of the house and, ride off into the sunset and go buy the house that they're looking for somewhere else. And we're all happy and healthy.
Yeah. And if you have any questions ever, you know who to ask.
We're here. We're here.
We are here.
All the time.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Happy New Year.
All right. Bye.
Bye.